What's up, guys? It's a whole lot of dude, Crash Jaxon, and we're drinking at Mo.
Hell yeah.
This is Drinkin Atmos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin Atmos, where we don't quit. Drinkin Atmos, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkinatmos be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking and Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Because, hell, we all know YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. Where most places you can find your audio podcast, too. I about knocked my Dr. Pepper can off my desk here. Okay, it's good now. Audio platforms, don't forget those. Today, I'm excited to have with me a guy that I have met a handful of times out at Revolver. He's a whole lot of dude. Crash Jaxon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Well, I cannot complain. Like I mentioned, before we started recording, a lot of good stuff rolling in for the podcast, and getting confirmed that I will indeed be able to try to make it out to the December Revolver show, and the little bit that everybody knows, my wife and I expecting, and later on that month he'll
Yep.
be arriving. So lots of good stuff all the way around.
Little Mo.
So,
Little Mo coming.
oh God, yeah. People have asked, what you ready for a little mini me? And I'm like, I don't know if the world is ready for another me. Like
I feel
we
that. I feel that
oh,
100%.
oh God, we had before we get into everything, we had a little bit of a scare at like before the first ultrasound, but then we get there
Mm.
fully expecting nothing to be there. And then they're like, well, he's being a little bit of a pain. And I'm like, wait, what? He's being, but he's there. And then I saw nothing until they handed her the picture, they generally take
Mm.
every time. I look at the picture, I'm like, do not do that to me again. And I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have a hide and seek champion on my
Scolding him already. He's not even out yet.
yeah, he's
Don't
not
you
even
ever do
out.
that again.
I'm like, you little. Oh God, yeah. It's gonna be a wild ride for sure. But
Absolutely.
first thing I'd like to start off with everybody with the first timers, anyways. What got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make that leap into the business?
Um, Me and my dad watched wrestling a lot whenever I was a kid. Uh, he was definitely like the one that like really got me into it. Uh, and with like his side of the family, like whenever I was growing up, like we lived like really close to like mostly everyone on that side of the family.
Mm,
So they, I had some older cousins. They were also into wrestling, and like my aunts and uncles also. were really into wrestling at the time. It was the Attitude Era,
Die.
Monday Night Wars, all that stuff. So, and even before the Monday Night Wars, like in the early '90s, because I was born in '92.
Mm.
Um, so, like anytime there was a pay per view, we would go to my aunt Debbie's house because she had the bigger house to handle all of us.
Mm.
And she had the big TV. We had the fixed direct TV card. So we didn't have to pay for pay-per-views. Uh, you know, uh and that was kind of like a monthly thing for the most part, until like most of them kind of got out of it eventually. But then like
Mm.
me and my dad still watched it for the most part. So yeah, it was definitely kind of like a family thing at first. Um, Not so much anymore as far as any of like my relatives. Like a few of my younger cousins, they seem pretty kind of interested into it. I think mostly just because that they have a family member that does it more so than
Yeah.
anything. I don't know if they like regularly watch. I have an older cousin. Her name is Jocelyn. She's a huge fan of it. She messages me all the time and asking me about it and stuff like that. She has Down syndrome. But
Mm.
she calls me her little cousin, even though I'm like much bigger than she is. And she's
That's
just like
awesome.
all the time sending me just like messages and like wanting me to like keep fighting, little cousin, and stuff like that. I'm like, I will, I got you, no worries. So stuff like that definitely helps me keep going whenever I feel like whenever I'm like having doubts about stuff. But like I got into it because I wasn't playing football anymore, and I had a buddy that I graduated high school with. He was doing it. He had started actually, like, had been doing it for like a couple years, and I just hit him up. I was like, dude, like, what I got to do to get in this? And so he's like, come with me to my next show, and then I'll introduce you to everyone, and then we'll kind of get the ball rolling from that way. And the first ever like show that I saw live was this small independent wrestling company in Eastern Kentucky called Bluegrass Championship Wrestling,
Mm.
and that's I was there. I helped set up the ring early. You know, I didn't have a license yet because like that was the first show, so like I couldn't like hang out in the back because in Kentucky you need a license to be like inside the guardrail and in the back. So like I was sitting like front row watching the show, just taking it in, and I was like, man, it's like these guys, I can do this. Hell yeah. I'm more athletic than that guy. I'm stronger than that guy. Whatever. And then, after that, it was like I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked from then. Like I'm really gonna do this. Because like I said, I wasn't playing football anymore. So like I needed some sort of like physical like outlet other than just going to the gym. Like I needed an extra reason to continue to go to the gym. Because like I was still doing that, but like I needed like more of a goal to like go towards because like uh, I enjoy the sport of like bodybuilding and stuff like that, but like I'm not like I'm not gonna like be a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
or at least like not, especially not at that time. Maybe when I'm older and I'm like and I can be more like I'm only gonna eat this and I'm not gonna eat anything else or whatever. Whenever I can really get that crazy like mental like level headedness that you need to be like in that. But until then, I was like, no, I'm gonna stick to the lifting, the heavy ass weights, kind of eating my chicken nuggets, and having my energy drinks, having some donuts here and there,
So
being
yeah.
like very relatable also.
So yeah,
Yeah,
nope.
man.
I can totally relate on that myself. Although, yeah, I've kind of had to tone back on the heavy lifting because I used to work with kids with behavior issues, and sometimes we'd have to put them in restraints. And well, I had to have two hernia surgeries in the span of 6 months because of
Ooh.
the restraints with the kids. And it was to the point my wife literally told me, if you get another one, you're getting a different job. And well,
Mm.
to say the least, I ended up leaving before that ever happened. So I work somewhere else now, and yeah, I don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, well, that's good. Hernias
But
ain't nothing to play with.
oh god, uh, yeah, especially that first one. I ended up with a scar that makes it look like I got shot in my belly button.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
Oh god, I got the cough so bad I didn't know until my wife came to change the bandage, but apparently I coughed the stitch back open.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
now
rough.
I literally got a scar above my belly button. It looks like I got shot there.
Well, I mean, you could lie and tell people you got shot.
But you know what? I've literally joked about that. I'm like, I could just tell some, like, okay, let's say if I were to ever have a girl boyfriend that gets over to, you know, dating time, boyfriend comes
Yeah.
over, and I could just be like, you see this? I
Yeah.
ain't afraid to have it happen again.
I got shot once, kid.
Oh God, what is the damn movie that I? Oh, there's a couple of movies that I've seen where it's literally the the kid comes in and the dad getting all intimidating. I think there was one with 50 Cent in it where he brings the kid into the garage and there's like a whole shitload of his
Oh
dudes
yeah,
in
I know.
there.
I've seen the clip of that. The first one that comes to mind is from Bad
That yes,
Boys
that was the
2,
other one. Well, I
where
ain't
where
going
they're I ain't go back,
back. But yeah,
Reggie.
oh God. And then one of the like the recent sequels, dude, Reggie plays a badass.
Yeah, yeah. He
He's
was like
like a
a
marine or something.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
thought it
holy
was awesome
shit.
that they kept him as like a continuing character. That's
I know,
awesome.
right? That was pretty cool. Like I watched it not that long ago, and I'm like, holy crap, that's the kid they tried to scare off.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild.
Like
And well,
like motherfucker, you look 30.
oh my god. That yeah. Oh god, now I gotta go watch that one again. Wow. But going back to, injuries I had at work, you actually not well, it doesn't seem like all that long ago when I try to look back on it. You actually battled back from a pretty intense injury yourself out at
Hmm.
Revolver, and it's like I remember hearing about it. I don't believe I was at the show, but like I said, heard about it. I'm like, oh, damn. Like, how was that for you battling back from that? Because that was pretty intense.
Um, honestly, like being like 100% transparent, like I didn't know if I would be able to like do it again, just
Yeah.
because I have like two plates in my forearm because both bones broke, and then initially like it wasn't that bad, because like you know after it happened, I got to the back and I was like, I gotta go to the damn hospital now. Um, so I was like, I'm not going to the hospital in my wrestling gear. So like, I'm gonna let me change my clothes. I'm not gonna be sitting in the hospital at midnight, half naked. So let me at least put my joggers on and or in a t-shirt or something. And so like I talked to like Alex Shelley. He was there and he checked on my arm. Uh, and like Sammy, he's like broken some bones, and like just from like talking to them, like we thought I was only going to be out maybe like 2 months because like nothing was like shit. It didn't like seem to be like out of place. Like it didn't go through the skin. Thankfully, that would have been awful.
Oh yeah.
Um, And then whenever I got to the hospital, they didn't have to reset it or anything like that. They put me in like a half cast, where the
Mm,
cast like went from
yeah.
like my knuckles right here and it goes like around like this part of my arm and it goes
Yeah.
under. So like this side and like this side of my arm was exposed, and they just told me like I need to follow up with an ortho after so long. And at like after I had it on for about 6 weeks, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like try to like follow up with an ortho because I figured, oh, they didn't need to reset it or anything while I was there. So I didn't figure like I needed to do anything hastily. Like might as well just let it like get some bit of healing. I didn't want to start just jumping from doctor to doctor to doctor a week or two after it happened. I was like, oh, let's let it like do something before like I'm going back and forth and getting it redone, rewrapped, all this stuff. Cause like at the time, like I had the insurance I had through work or whatever, like messed up or something. And like I didn't have it anymore. So like I was like, I don't have the money to do all of this, going to all these different like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So like I also had to wait and get like a new insurance. Luckily, I was able to get it like pretty quickly. And then finally at a follow up with the ortho after about 8 weeks, they took it off, and my bones, both bones in my forearm, they had shifted, and so it kind of
Ugh.
looked like I had like a second elbow
Oh.
almost. So like there was like you see my like the bend of my elbow right here. It looked like there was like another one like right here. And you can see you can see the one scar
Mm,
right there from this one, and then you can see the other scar
yeah.
running right there for it. Um, and so whenever there's like, oh, you're gonna have surgery, or you can just do physical therapy and just deal with it. I was like, well, I can't wrestle with my arm like this. So yeah, we're gonna have to do surgery and get it situated. So had to do some more x-rays so my orthopedic surgeon can kind of get a game plan on like what she's going to do and stuff like that. So she like, okay, I'm going in here, I'm doing this, and then we're getting out. We're fixing it and get it done. Got it scheduled. Had the surgery January 26th, or is it 26th or 25th? It was the day after a Dayton Revolver show, and it
Mm,
was a Thursday. It was a Thursday night show. It
okay.
was one of the Thursday shows we had in Dayton, so it was the day after. I want to say it was the 25th. I might have the poster up on the wall.
You might have the poster up behind you. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have the poster up because I wasn't on the show, so my face wasn't on the
Ah.
poster, so I don't have it. But so like anticipatingly, like I thought I was going to be out for probably close to a year with like physical therapy and all of that stuff. I had surgery, and then like literally on like the following Tuesday, I was in physical therapy, and I was only doing it like once a week. But like I was also like doing the extra. I was doing stuff at home, like the exercises they were giving me and things
Yeah.
like that. And then um it was April. It was in April. I want to say like April. It was like the third or fourth week in April. My ortho, I did a follow up and asked her. I was like, "Do we have like a timetable when you think I could like get back to like wrestling and like kind of like doing normal things again?" And she said, "Oh, you could. You're good." She's like, "You could go wrestle tonight if you wanted to." I was like, "Oh." I'm not going to, but okay, that's good to know.
Good to
And
know
she
you
was like,
could.
you could also, yeah, it was great to know. Like I was not, I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that news uh going into that. I was expecting like a few more months or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I was progressing with physical therapy for the most part, but then like a couple weeks prior to that, like I wasn't really seeing any improvement with like the pronation rotation of my wrist to like having my
Okay.
palm like face flat, and I'm still struggling with it. She told me it could take up to like a year for that to get back to normal, like a year post surgery.
Mm.
So but she was like, yeah, like you can start like lifting weights and like doing stuff, just like don't go too crazy too fast because the strength and stuff isn't there
Yeah.
yet. So go slow, like resistance bands and light weights at first and whatever. And then so I knew then. Um and then like I immediately started thinking of a plan on how I'm going to come back. And I had several like promotions hit me up and was like wanting me to uh like come do shows and stuff like from like around that time or closely after I found out I was like back, and I was like, oh, I can't just like show up at just like any show though. Like I
Yeah.
gotta come back at Revolver. I
Oh
have to.
yeah.
Like that's
Totally.
the like and we gotta keep it like under wraps. Like can't tell anyone. Um I like after I left the ortho, I called Sammy and I told him I was like, yo, I'm cleared. Uh let's start making a plan, figure this out. And then leading up to that, I think only like three or four people knew that I was clear. And leading up to the May 17th Dayton show, only like a couple people knew that I was actually wrestling that night. Um, I didn't even tell my girlfriend. I didn't even tell her about it. Uh, and so like literally no one knew. Like and like at the Revolver shows, like everyone is so like kind of like in their own, like they're doing their own thing, like no one's like paying directly attention to you unless you like draw it to you, because like everyone's got their own matches to like figure out, and they're
Yeah.
stretching or they just had their match and now they're relaxing, they're like chilling, they're getting catering or whatever, or they're just like watching the show. So like I'm like kind of invisible in a way, which makes it even like better too, because like no one's like even really paying attention to me, even though like I'm in gear. um and then uh you know Trey wasn't able to make it. He got booked to do some mocap for 2K, so
Mm.
Sammy was like, hey, we're going to slide you into that match and tag with Zach and Masha in that 6-man against the unit.
Mm.
And so like, oh, hi Bailey. uh and so like we're gonna do that, and then they're like, oh, there's only two of you guys, blah blah blah. And then Zach's like, oh yeah, well we got this person right here, we got our partner. And then my music hits, and the like
I was watching that show.
the
Yeah.
pop, it was so fucking loud.
I jumped off my
Like
couch.
videos of it and like watching it like on, if you're like watching the live stream or if you like go back and watch the replay, it doesn't like honestly do it justice, like
Yeah.
how fucking loud it was.
Th-
Like it
That
was
was one hell of a
literally
match.
like
Yeah.
it was insane. And like talking to people and stuff, like I was still going to shows and like setting up a merch table and like selling stuff or whatever. I was very fortunate that like I was able to do that at a Revolver and like a few other shows, like War Wrestling up in Lima, and uh RWA Renegade Wrestling Alliance in uh West Newton, Pennsylvania. Still let me like come to shows and like set up merch and stuff like that to like try to like let me make money while I was out, because
Yeah.
like I couldn't work my regular job either. So I really appreciate that. And like it's one thing to like fans like kind of sympathy, like, oh, they don't like people like donated to the GoFundMe or like they'll buy a shirt or something. But like the genuine reaction of them being surprised that I'm like back was just like, it like made my heart feel very full.
No,
You
I
know,
bet. I
yeah, like
bet.
it was just like it was an unreal feeling. Just really, uh, there's it's hard to really equate to anything. Like I've
Yeah.
never felt something like that before.
Oh yeah.
And it just means like everything that I did up to that point, leading up to that, like all the fans really appreciated me, and that like they were happy to see
Mm.
that I made it back, especially
Oh
because like we all thought it was going to be almost a year
yeah. I know
for
that's
me before I
around
could
the
come
time
back.
frame I was thinking for sure.
Yeah.
And like I'm not even kidding. Watching that show, I wasn't expecting you to be back yet. And then your music hits. I literally jumped off my couch. So I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like
It,
so many, like I had so many people texting me. It's like, dude, why didn't you say anything? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
yeah.
gotta keep fat, brother.
And that is the battle, not just in independent wrestling, but pro wrestling in general right now. Keeping something a secret like that doesn't happen all that often.
No.
Somebody usually leaks something, and then you know you can still keep up, kind of plausible deniability sort of thing, and be like,
Yeah.
oh well, we don't know for sure, and blah blah blah. But then, yeah,
Yep.
those genuine nobody would have guessed it moments yet are kind of few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know for one, I enjoyed still seeing you at the shows during that road to recovery. Is I think it might have been the picture I actually got with you that I'm actually going to use for the thumbnail for this episode. I'm wanting to say it was at one of those, but I've been to, over the past couple of years, been to so many Revolver shows. It's kind of hard for me to keep track of which one happened when. And
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like they run together.
some of
Sometimes.
them can, but I love it there how, like, from right before, like, the music they have playing, and before the show even starts, and then that purge siren gets going. It's like a damn party the whole damn time. It's
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
a great time. And then getting to see you there. And I'm wanting to say, I'm wanting to say you were one of the people that were in this funny situation I had at a Revolver show where I'm wanting to say it was you, but I know Manders was involved somehow, where somebody had asked me about how long it took me to grow my beard. And I know you were nearby, but then I just said, yeah, no, it's been a while, but me with a bald head, clean shaven, my head would look like a penis. And Manders was on the floor. Like, I got him on
uh,
the floor laughing, and I know you were nearby, but I don't know if you were the one that asked me about my beard. I know you were nearby at least, but that's why you got me thinking of you, because I'm pretty sure you might have been within earshot at least.
I probably was. I probably was. Because like I spend a lot of time at the merch table. Like I was talking to some people about this. I had started a new job like a few weeks ago, but I already quit because it sucked. But it was a sales job. And I was like,
Mm,
oh, like I should be pretty good at this, like wrestling is all about selling and like
yeah.
selling yourself, selling merch, whatever. I was like, this should translate pretty easily. And like it did, but also um at the same time it didn't because it was like door to door sales and it was just like
Oh,
I
lovely.
hated it. Like I'm pretty extroverted and I can talk to anyone. We can bullshit forever. But going to someone's house
Yeah.
unprompted, like I already feel uncomfortable doing that because like I don't like it when someone just comes to my house unprompted and just starts knocking on the
Oh,
door.
God.
Even if
Yeah.
they're not wanting anything or like trying to sell me anything, whatever, like I'm just like, who's at my house? It's like,
get
got
off my
a
lawn,
scary dog
kids.
over here. Scary dog over here. She's even though she's the sweetest, she's got a pretty gnarly bark.
No,
So
yeah, I
it
got a I
it's
got a
I
full grown
fucking
English bulldog,
I'm
and
jealous.
he's like just a gentle soul, but man, when he barks, it's a nasty sounding bark.
Absolutely. I need a bull.
But
need a bully.
oh
Bailey
man,
needs a
I
friend
love him.
to romp around with.
I want to get something for mine, but with the kid on the way, or that's kind of on the back burner right now.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
oh god, but it would warm my heart to have two dogs bringing the baby home and getting one of those, videos you see of the the dog seeing the baby for the first time, sort of things. Like,
Yeah.
oh god, I want that so bad right now. Getting all sappy here, but
I want that, but I'm bringing home a kitten or a puppy.
oh dude, I've literally seen ones of like the one dog getting the first view of the new puppy, sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen those too. Yeah.
so those I love those. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, and I'm glad I am getting to start off that month at Revolver. December 7th season finale gonna be on Triller TV.
Yes, sir.
I still like to call it Fight TV for some reason sometimes. But man, Revolver knows how to end the year off with a bang. Like,
Yep.
generally speaking, season finale, they always end it off with a bang. But man, out of the couple of matches they got announced right now, they got, Ace Austin versus Matt Cardona for the world title. They got the freaking monster Cruel against Masha Slamovich. That's going to be nuts.
That's gonna be like very interesting.
Yeah.
Because especially now, because like I have been in the ring with both of them now. And like I've known both of them for a while and I've seen their work. So it's gonna be definitely like they have similar but different styles in a way.
Yeah.
Like
Very
Masha, we've seen her. She can get very, very hardcore. She gets down and dirty with the best of them. But like
oh yeah.
Cruel is like a whole other animal. Honestly,
Oh, oh,
it's
most definitely.
it's insane.
Oh God, and yeah, very familiar.
Monster movie vibes.
Oh, most definitely. Like, I I don't remember when this started, but I recently, in posting or tweeting, I'm not going to call it X, but in tweeting about a show that he was on, I didn't realize that he actually follows me on there.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And then Masha actually made a bit of a unplanned cameo in one of my episodes with Akira.
Oh yeah.
Like, you hear her, and then all of a sudden you, like, out of the corner of the video you see
Yeah.
her face, and I'm like, hello. She was giving Akira shit for like talking about his life story, and I'm like, hi. It was pretty wild. But
Those two are funny. Those two are
so
funny.
Akira, I had been a huge fan of him, so when I finally got him on, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Masha's gonna be around. And she was. I'm like, well,
Almost a 2-for-1.
almost. Maybe I'll get to working on getting Masha on. Although, I mean, now with her being the TNA Knockouts champion, who knows how busy her schedule's gonna get.
Yeah, that's gonna be nuts.
And then another You know what? I'm actually going to be able to witness my second ever no rope barbed wire match that night.
Yep.
That is going to be wild.
Yep. I'm glad I'm not in that one. I've had my fill of barbed wire this year.
I was going to say, because, recently it seems like you've definitely been dabbling into the whole deathmatch world.
That's not 100% by choice.
Yeah. I was wondering.
You do one death match and everyone's like, oh, just put Crash in all the hardcore matches. Because the night before that four-way at Revolver, I was in Canada for NCG. There was we had a multi-man like ladder match, and like there was obviously more. There was tables and cooking sheets, and I think there was a stop sign in there somewhere. There were some chairs, classic like ladder match.
Oh yeah.
And I went through a table and then had to drive like 10 hours from Canada to Iowa.
I was going to say
with like 4 hours of sleep.
The Monsters Brawl death match. That the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
That was wild. I wasn't able to be there in person, but I definitely made it a point to watch that show. And I'm like, ooh, that was nice. That was killer show all the way around, but that match in particular, wow.
It was something else. Like I said, I had got maybe a couple hours of sleep on the trip there. I tried to take a nap when we got to the venue, and that was at like 11-ish, maybe closer to noon. And then I got there, I was like, why can't I take a nap? I couldn't. I tried. And then like I see on Twitter that the match they're like, oh, by like request, it's the main event. I'm like, fuck, I have to wait even longer to wrestle tonight. So I was so exhausted. I slept so hard that night.
I bet.
And then I slept super hard on the way home. It was just, I was beat the hell up.
Oh, after a weekend like that, I can imagine. And
that was a long 72 hours.
Oh God, yeah. And interesting enough, I have actually had on one of your co-workers in that particular match on the show recently, and you were actually involved in the particular show we were promoting, the Clash Wrestling
Ricky?
With Ricky. Yeah,
that's my best friend.
Oh, dude, like, the first time I ever met him, it was like I don't know. I wasn't sure what to think because I've heard about him, and it was like, oh, cool, getting to meet him finally. And then I was watching the show where the whole Red faction was revealed, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then I think it was he had posted about wanting to do some podcasts to promote that show. And Peapod, who was one of the commentators that night, he was the one that tagged me in it, like, do this. And I'm like, on it. And then just worked. Like, I almost gave up because I had waited a little bit, but, wrestlers, independent, especially such busy schedules a lot of you guys can have. But then all of a sudden he's like, okay, what dates do you have available? I'm like, I got this, and this before the show. It's like, boom. And then we did it. I'm like, that was a fun one. Like, the episode was fun to record. And then that whole show in particular, like you and the Ladders Legal match with, I've had past guests that were in that match with you with Jake Frist. Dude, love that dude. Absolutely love him.
He's the best.
No, man.
The best.
I had a loss in the family, and like for a while I hadn't gone to any shows.
Yeah.
first show I went back to was a Revolver show, and he actually took some time with me after the show, just chatting up about that. And I'm like, dude, I was already a fan of you, but dude, nothing but love for that dude. And
He's
then,
the man.
oh god, and then talking about main events, Cruel and Ricky Shane Page and that death from a like that contraption they had in the freaking corner.
Yeah, I was like, how is this gonna like function? How is it gonna work? And then like they made it like it happened, it went off, or it got
right at the
triggered
beginning
in the match, and I was like, oh, oh shit, that's insane. Who came up with that? That's wild.
Whoever came up with that
is
give
so
them
crazy.
A raise. Give them a damn raise.
Yeah.
That was I can't say that I've seen too many like firsts for me in wrestling. Like I've been watching it for so long, all different types of wrestling. So there's not too many firsts. That was a first for me. I'd never seen anything like that contraption before.
Mm-hmm.
And to make it, talk about starting off the match with a bang when that thing went off.
Yeah. I saw them like kind of building it like in the back, and I was like, what the fuck is that thing? And then like there was like that intermission whenever they were putting it together and like setting it up in the ring. I'm like, I still don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Or, like how it's gonna work. And like I don't think anyone did until like except for the people that like built it.
Yeah.
And I was just like confused, just like what the fuck? Like that's all I could think of. Is like, what the fuck? What is this? What is this thing?
Yeah, I kept on looking sideways, like, what the fuck?
And then like it happened, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like in general, I was thinking, okay, death matches have been known to. There's been some wacky names with them, and when it came about Death from Above, I'm like, okay, what? Like, what's gonna like scaffolds? What? And then, like you, that contraption, I'm like, okay, does that have something to do with it? And then you see it go off, and you're like,
yeah,
I get it now. Yeah, that was intense. And then before we get into my categories here, there is one other promotion I saw you pop up quite a bit at, and they've become quite the destination spot, especially in the Midwest. Black Label Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know recently, well, not all that recently, but somewhat recently, came, about with some videos of their combine they had with, I think, former Mandy Rose was there. I want to say Jordan Grace was there.
Yep.
And the amount of wrestling I watch, sometimes I space off some shit. Some of the other people.
Yeah, there was some like a lot of like there was like a couple like current like TNA superstars, quite a few like former like WWE and NXT wrestlers as well. So I mean, like that the combine event like part of it in itself was like insane. And I talked to Mikey about it, and he was like, man, that was so stressful. And I'm like, I'm sure it was. I guarantee it was, because like that's a lot of moving parts, especially like with something like that, and with like all of those like big talents and like like egos. Like, not saying that any of those people have egos, but like we all have egos. You kind of have to like if you don't have an ego in this business, then you're probably not going to make it too far. You gotta believe in your own hype first before anyone else believes in it, sort of thing. But just like try to like juggle and manage all of that, plus like actually like running an actual show on the set, like I think it was like right after it or whatever. had to be like insanely stressful because like I have I've been like going to Revolver and stuff and like helping out and like, even the shows that I'm booked on, like I still go out there and like I help do stuff like street team, like set up the show. There's one show Phil couldn't be there, so I helped run Gorilla, like running music and
Mm.
stuff. I've hopped on commentary before. Um, and
I
like
want
I've
to do more of
helped
that. I Not to
yeah,
interrupt you.
I
I
would
want to
do
do
it. I
more of
would do
that.
I would do more commentary too. Absolutely. I might hop in on there maybe after the at some point maybe within the next couple of shows I might slide in there or whatever. But
Hey, you get you
after
and
like
me in
doing
there.
that and then hell yeah, let's do it. Uh
Yeah.
like doing all of that stuff and then like I've helped out of like other promotions like whether like agent matches or like help like put stuff together or like book some stuff here and there. Like it is like us as wrestlers, like if you've never like done anything like that, like we kind of sometimes we can take the bookers and promoters for granted and like, oh, they should be more accommodating to us. It's like
Mm.
they're trying to be accommodating for like at least 40 people a show minimum.
Yeah.
So like maybe we should like tone it down a little bit. But then there are some like promoters that are like they're kind of shitheads. But like we know those we don't work for those. Like we should
Yeah.
like kind of cut some slack for the good ones.
Oh yeah.
Like Mikey at Black Label, because he was just telling me how stressful like some of these last few months have been with like shows and stuff. But I'm like,
Oh,
dude, I
yeah.
get it.
No,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
I can't wait till they're back like doing stuff because I was supposed to have had my first match back with them at the most recent Fancy Wrestling, but then the first one it got pushed back, and then they had to cancel the other one.
Mm.
So hopefully I'll be back with them at Black Label whenever they make their return because
So,
I love being there. I love working at Black Label.
oh, I've heard nothing but great things about there, and with the podcast, whenever they get back up and running, I'm down for stuff for hyping up different shows by all means. I've been wanting to get into more of commentary and doing preview shows for different promotions because this year I haven't done so many. Ricky Shane Page and I'm wanting to say maybe one or two other ones, and that's it for the year. But I always have fun doing them. And it actually perfect segue here because somebody that I've seen involved with you at Black Label Pro, Trevor Outlaw, he was actually
Yeah, I love Trevor.
I've had great interactions with him. But the funny thing here is he was also a huge part of, well, I guess they're now Pro Wrestling Ventures, but they were Warrior Wrestling, mostly out of Chicago. But I actually got invited out to be a part of the Fan Fest and everything for their St. Louis stop a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And, he was there. I got there before they did. And he was actually a part of a faction with Frank the Clown there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason I bring it up is I get a kick out of telling the story of I got to be involved in a rib on Frank the Clown. Because my table was literally right across from Mike Bennett. And then they're trying to figure out, they're carrying around the name thing for Frank the Clown's table. And there was like this little alcove cutout area in where they had the Fan Fest where there was a trash can in that little cutout area. So I'm like, I got it. And I just set it down right in front of the trash can. And he comes up later on, he's like, who the hell did this? And I'm like,
Oh, is that guy over there?
Yeah, that the guy that just walked out of the room, him. Yeah, no, I
He's
get a
wearing a
kick.
black shirt. That really narrows it down at a wrestling show.
No, yeah. But it was a fun time. I got nothing but love for people at Warrior and Black Label Pro. Huge fan, and you know, okay, Frank the Clown. I give him shit, but I don't think he gets enough credit for the job of the heel is to make the crowd want to pay their hard-earned money to see you get your ass kicked.
Absolutely.
And that guy could teach a master's class on to be that type of a heel. He can do it just like he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, some people just like kind of just have that like natural like, yeah, I'm better than you, like vibe to them. Even if they may not be that way, some people just have that just like kind of natural like heel charisma to them. Like some people just have like a naturally like punchable face,
Hey,
or like, why are you so good at everything? I don't know, I'm just good. And then you're like, oh fuck you, sort of thing. Or
like
even
that
if
one.
they're not good at it, they're like they're delusional and they think they are. Or
Oh,
there's so many different like levels to it. And
oh
like
yeah.
some people are just naturally drawn to it and just naturally really, really friggin' good at it.
Oh yeah. And like you bring up, the punchable face. For some reason, I got that scene from Step Brothers playing in my head where it's like, I just want to, like get the kettle with
Yeah.
the line drag. I just want
Yeah.
to. I don't know what you
Yeah.
want me to do. Oh, love it. Now I got to go watch that movie again. All right.
Hell yeah.
Oh God, classic. All right. Anyways, I got two categories here. First one's a bit of a name game where I name off some people. You give me some quick thoughts on them. And you know what? We talked a lot about Revolver. Each of these people, pretty big at Revolver at one point or another. And
Mhm.
they've got another thing in common. They've also, in one way or another, done something with me for the podcast, whether it be a short or whatever. First one, Myron Reed.
Just like first thing that comes to my
Yeah,
head.
first thing that comes to your mind.
Uh, a fellow Kentucky boy. We're both from Kentucky.
Mm.
Uh, we used to be roommates
Oh,
whenever he lived up here in Ohio. Um, uh, and this son of a bitch stole my victory from me at the last Revolver show.
mm.
I hit Alan Angels with the crash landing. I was getting ready to cover him, and then Myron comes out of nowhere and kicks me in the face, like
Nah, yeah.
hard as shit. And like, okay, like I'm not mad about it. I am, but I'm not. Like
Gotcha.
he picked his spot, like he picked his moment, he took it. Like I'm not more disappointed than anything. I understand why he did it
Yeah.
because maybe if I was in the same situation, maybe I probably would have done the same thing
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like it, because like we're going for that golden ticket. That's career changing if like you cash it in and you do it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're able to get the title after successfully cashing it in. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, more disappointed than anything, but I understand it, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it.
Yeah. And, I do have to say one lucky son of a bitch with the freaking Killer Kelly there.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I've pleasant interactions anytime that I've actually got to meet her. But hey, for you know what, if she ends up watching this, from one soon to be parent to another, I wish you well. All right. And you know what? Speaking of, Killer Kelly, another member of Red, the next two also fellow Red members. First one, he was on, and he still is on my deathmatch Mount Rushmore. Alex Cologne.
He's angry. He's angry. He's angry a lot. But I have noticed since he has joined Red, he seems to be having more fun.
He
And
does.
honestly, I think that's scarier than angry Alex Cologne.
You know
I
what?
feel like we all know what to expect with angry Alex Cologne. We don't know what to expect with happy, having fun Alex Cologne. Because that's uncharted territory for all of us, even for people that have known him for a long time. Like, I've known Alex for a while now. Like, I've never seen him as like happy and having fun as he is right now. And that's pretty intimidating, especially like knowing like what he's capable of and like seeing the stuff he can and will do.
Oh yeah.
So like for someone who I know has like been like angry and pissed off for like so much of their like wrestling career, to see them like happy and having fun. Because I know whenever I'm happy and I'm having fun, my brain works better. I'm more creative. Yeah. I'm thinking of more and better and cooler stuff. And like he already has like he's like it's like one of the best deathmatch wrestlers ever. So for his, like if his brain chemistry works the same as mine in that regard, if he starts becoming more creative, like with his, not even just like his wrestling, but like his deathmatch stuff, now that he's happy and having fun, holy shit, we're in store for a wild ride coming.
Oh, so,
yeah.
It reminds me of this one comedian that I've been listening to his podcast, that he'd do these joke things where he'd talk about an event where like, we'll sell you the seat, but you'll only need the edge. It was like that's what we're in for with him. You'll get the seat but you'll be on the edge of it the whole damn time.
Mm-hmm.
And I love getting memorabilia from different guests that I've had on. And when I had Alex Cologne on, he was talking about investing in some new kick pads, and he was selling off the old ones to help out. And it was like, how much do you want? It's like, make me an offer. Well, he accepted the offer, and I got signed ring warden kick pads of his, just waiting to find a way to display them right now. I even found a picture of him wearing them, doing like a double knee into a pane of glass in the corner. I'm like, okay, that is going in there with him.
Yeah, you need like some like super sweet, like maybe like a shadow box or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, most definitely. All right. Next
I'm trying to offload my deathmatch gear, the ones that I wore in that monster.
I was seeing some posts about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Speaking of another guy that can get down in some death matches, Ricky Shane Page.
That's my best friend.
He's a good dude. He is one hell of a good dude.
I've known Ricky for like a few years now. Like we had shared locker rooms, like we had never really hung out before. And then one Iowa show, he had got there like a day early or something, and like we were hanging out at the Airbnb. Or no, so like we initially like hung out like after the show, and we were hanging out at the Airbnb or whatever. We were just, having some drinks and just bullshitting because we don't have to wrestle. And we're just chilling now. And then like we just really fucking hit it off. And then, we just more and more and more, and like he's definitely like one of my like really good friends now. And
I
so
got
yeah, he's
nothing but
also
love.
super creative. He's also super creative in his wrestling, and not only just his wrestling, but in his like hardcore
Mm,
deathmatch style of wrestling as well. And
as if that death from
I feel like
above match
something,
wasn't evident of that.
yeah, and like uh we're kind of almost like a little bit of like kindred spirits because like we're both bigger dudes, but like we are deceptively athletic. People look at us and they're not going to think
Hmm.
we're as athletic as we are, but
I
we are. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah. No, you watch either one of you guys, and yeah, I can vouch for it. Yeah. You don't think of guys of both of your size being able to pull off some of the things that you guys are able to, but when you do, you're like, oh damn. Lots of great stuff. So I like I said, nothing but great things to say about him. I look forward to, I know some members of Red are involved in the show for December 7th. So hopefully you get to see him there because, getting to meet up with somebody after I've recorded with them, pretty cool experience. We got it.
absolutely.
I actually got to do that with the last person on this list here, Billy Starks.
Another Kentucky kid.
Yeah.
Another Kentucky kid. Uh, I've only I've only shared the ring with Billy like one time in a scramble match at Dayton Revolver show. It was during Alex Shelley's remix title run.
Mm,
Um, but known I've known Billy since she was like just little, like super little kid coming to shows with Mouse, taking pictures, taking promo pictures, like coming to Rockstar on Third Street here in Dayton, and she'd set up
mm,
in the green room and be taking promo pictures for us and stuff while Mouse is like shooting out at ringside and stuff like that. And so just like uh seeing her go from that to like where she is now is like, we're not close by any means, but like I'm proud of her
yeah.
uh for that, especially because like a little bit extra because I'm from Kentucky, and it's always great
Mm,
seeing someone from my home state
yeah.
like make it,
Oh,
like
totally.
get to the big stage,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Most
like
definitely.
it just helps, you know, like I, I'm one of those people, like I want to do that. I want to be like there. I want to be on the big stage and everything like that. But like I get just as much like satisfaction and enjoyment of seeing my friends and like all the people that I love and care for, and seeing them do all the big and cool stuff. Like I'm sometimes I feel like I get more excited for them than I do for myself.
I can
I
understand
don't
that.
know.
I can definitely understand.
I like seeing my people do good.
Oh, no.
I like seeing them do well.
Same way. I am definitely the type that, yeah, I would love to, you know, continue to grow things with podcasts, get different opportunities. But when I've developed friendships with different people from all over the country. When I get to see them succeeding at whatever it might be, they get a big match, they get a big title win, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And, getting to see them have that success, it's like, it's a cool feeling getting to see the people you know and love getting that shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
1,000%. I love
Oh yeah,
seeing that.
totally. Now I got some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
That's fine.
So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head. First one, the one that I always lead off with. Craziest in match moment for you?
Uh, I've got like a few, honestly. Um, so I want to give you like, kind of like a couple because like
Yeah,
they're kind of like different definitions of crazy.
yeah.
Um, the first one I got to uh share the ring with Rhino like back in
Ooh.
like I think this was like in 2019
Okay.
or something like that. It was in a triple threat. It was Rhino, Clayton Gaines, and myself, and we were at XWA in Rhode Island. And you know, I grew up. Watched Rhino on TV,
Yeah.
and then like getting to share the ring with him was awesome. And you know, I've been to his promotion now like a few times and worked for him up in Michigan. Like I could call him like sort of like it's crazy to like go from like oh I watch this guy on TV now like I have his phone number and I could call him up sort of thing like just like that that's like one kind of crazy thing and then like another one um getting the first time I ever got to like share the ring with Moose
Okay.
this was uh this was also in 2019. This was a pre-pandemic Revolver. We were at the we were at the Bright Side. Um, it was that's like a wedding music venue
Okay.
here in Dayton. Um, and because whenever I first got into independent wrestling, like I wasn't actively watching wrestling at the time. So like there was like a 10 or 12-year gap while I was playing football, like where football was like my main focus. I wasn't watching wrestling. So I just started like just trying to find stuff on YouTube to watch. Because this was like whenever I first got in, this was like right before the network, the WWE
Mm,
network had started.
yeah.
Uh so everything it was either having to get like DVDs still like on the tail end of the DVD like
Yeah.
getting and stuff. This is before like IWTV and Fight and
Yeah.
all that, so you couldn't stream everything. So everything had to be found on YouTube or DVDs. And I found a bunch of stuff from Dragon Gate
Mm,
of Moose, Akira Tozawa, Apollo Cruz, which then was Yuha Nation, and Ricochet, also another original Kentucky boy. Uh, I think he lives in Vegas now, but he's also from Kentucky.
yeah.
So that's another cool thing. But like those four, like I like religiously like watched their stuff and was like studying their stuff. Um, especially Moose, just because like he came we similar background. He played football and then
Oh,
came over to wrestling. I was just like coming off of playing college football myself and was getting into wrestling. So like there was like kind of like a little bit of a kinship there
yeah.
and stuff. Like I felt relatable to him in a way. Uh, and then, you know, finally a few years later, finally getting to share the ring with him and stuff like that was really cool. And then like later in the night, like that venue has a bar, and like I saw he was at the up at the bar having a drink, and I went up and sat next to him. And a friend of mine, my friend of mine, Meggie, she snapped a picture of it of like us like from behind of like me sitting there talking to him, and I was just telling him about it and how fucking cool it was. Like a cool like full circle moment it was for me. And now like I've been on a bunch of shows with him now, and like we know each other and stuff like that. So it's really awesome and crazy and cool and dope and all the other adjectives you could
Oh,
throw
yeah.
out there that you could put out there to like really like bring it all together and like
Oh, yeah.
just you know have that. I feel like those two are those are the ones the two things that come out like the first pop into my mind whenever I think about crazy, but like in a different
Yeah,
in a
in a
different
different
way.
kind of context. Yeah.
Yeah, in a different kind of context. Because, like, you know, uh, as far as like the most recent crazy thing would be Kroll choke slamming me through that barbed wire cage panel.
Yeah, I would say so. And like I love putting that question in there because some of the stories that I get off of it are just nuts. Like, what was it? Lloyd Anoa'i told me about him and New Jack in the original ECW getting told to be careful with the venue. And then they both proceed to end up going through a wall, and Paul Heyman's ripping them after the match. And one of the most recent ones that, knowing the history behind the situation, got me like, oh, damn. I have I had a guest on that had a match in Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
and like literally, I'm not gonna trash Puerto Rico at all. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people from there. Great, passionate crowd, great people. But okay, we got to be honest. The Puerto Rican fans have been known. They've developed a reputation for being rather intense. Like
I have heard things. I've heard
if
things.
if they do not like you, that you're gonna need help getting out of the venue. And well,
I have heard.
where this is going, he had a match and he wore a particular shirt that said, both in English and in Spanish, "Justice for Brody."
Oh,
And I'm like, oh fuck. Everything that happened with Bruiser Brody down there, I'm like, oh damn.
yeah.
Talk about like, okay, we mentioned with Frankie Clown and being like that sort of a heel, that like the crazy heat. That is like that level of heat in Puerto Rico right there is like Dudley Boys in the original ECW. Like damn near riot level shit.
Brother's lucky that he made it out alive.
Oh,
Honestly,
he literally told me after he told me that story that it was after the fact, but he had gotten a call from the promoter telling him that if he ever brought that guy back, that guy isn't making it home. Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah, I don't want that. I
yeah,
love wrestling, but I don't want that to happen.
oh God,
No,
no. I don't want that level of heat. Would I find
no.
it fun to one day, have a role in a show and play the heel? Yeah, it would be fun. But do I want that level of heel? No,
No.
no, no, not at all. All right. Now we talked a little bit about dabbling in, death matches. What is a weapon you would like to avoid being used in a match, whether death match or regardless, if you had the choice?
Um, I keep seeing people use like weed eaters.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want to deal with panes of glass. Um, gusset plates freak me out.
Yeah.
Even though I just used one on Cruel, but like they still freak me out. They're like, they're weird.
You see what those are actually used for. And like
Yeah,
you're pounding that into somebody's flesh and you're like, ow.
into this man's chest, not just his flesh, into his chest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I've seen some pretty creative and wild deathmatch things.
Same.
Um, those like knife boards,
Oh yeah, those are nuts.
or I think I've seen one where there was like a scissor board or something like that
Oh
somewhere.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen
No,
that
no
too.
thanks.
Yeah, nope,
Not
not
for me.
no,
Um,
no, no, no.
if you want me to
Yeah.
do that, I need a lot more money
Oh
for
God, yeah.
that. What's another one that I've seen? And I immediately was like, nope, nope. Um, some of these like crazy contraption, like bats with like stuff like glued or
Mm,
taped onto them.
those wiffle ball bats that have like thumbtacks and all sorts of like I've seen like the you see those poppers on the 4th of July,
Yeah,
like those on steroids attached to those, and like they
yeah.
make like a big old fireball after they're done.
I don't want that. Oh yeah, no, I don't want to be set on fire.
Oh yeah. Which, funny enough, the first ever death match that I got to witness in person was actually at Revolver and involved Jake Christ and Joel Bateman.
Oh yeah,
The one where it was immediately following a Monsters Ball match, and they were
that
trying
I was in.
to, and they were trying to clean up afterwards, and Jake just rolls in and is like, "Fuck it, let's go." Like,
Yeah,
don't clean up anything, leave it, let's go. And then it ended with panes of glass and fire.
yeah.
I was third row for that.
Uh, Jake can do it all, man. And
So that yeah.
and Joel Bateman he's the I love Joel.
So I got a picture of with him after that match. His face still all bloody and stuff.
Mm.
It was awesome. He's all smiling like, yeah. Like, dude, what you just went through and you're still smiling like that? Holy shit.
He's a sweet man.
So
Sweet
that
man.
he is. That he is. All right. Next question here. I know a lot of what I would do with this, but what would be some of the first things you would do if you had bucket money? Like some abnormal amount of money that you're like, you know what? I've always wanted this. Now I can get it.
Um, well, I would buy a piece of property first, kind of like off to itself, but not too far away from stuff, so it's not a hassle to go if I needed another grocery. Well, if I had fucking money, I would just get everything delivered. So I guess that doesn't matter. It's like here, let me have my helicopter bring it to me. It's
No,
thing.
dude, that
Um,
would be awesome.
um, uh, I would have, like this big building like on my property, not where not the part where I would live, but it would have like a wrestling. It'd have
Ah,
like
yeah.
it would have a wrestling ring in it. It'd have a couple of rings in it, but it would also have a gym. Um, but it would also like have like it would basically be like instead of a man cave, it would be like my man barn dominion. If you see,
I, I like the idea. I
uh,
like the
like
idea.
I'd have my wrestling, I'd like wrestling in there, my weightlifting stuff. I would also have like all of my nerd stuff in there. Like I would have like a room specifically for like board games and like
Mm,
playing like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that.
okay.
Then I'd have a separate room for like my gaming stuff where I'd have like my gaming PC for streaming and all my video games and stuff like that with all of my cool
Mm.
collectibles. Because then if I have fucking money, I have all these super cool collectibles that are like nice and pristine and these super expensive like figures and statues that I can't afford right now. And they're all some of them are like half as tall as I am from the ones that I've looked up. And
Yeah.
then also on that property, I would have all just a bunch of animals.
Oh yeah.
Just a bunch of
I'd be
animals.
about the same. Yeah.
All the cats and dogs and whatever else.
Though I could. Oh, my wife already jokes with me about getting different farm animals. And I'm like, she always tries to tell me I can never say no to her, and I just tell her, "Have you seen what happens when I try?"
I can relate.
Like
I
she'll
can
say that,
relate.
and I'm like, "Have you seen what happens when I try?" And like we have a smaller walk-in closet, and there was one time where I suspect it had already been done and bought. I was like, would I be able to get a chandelier in the closet? I'm like, no.
A
And
chandelier in the closet.
it's not like a huge thing, but like a small chandelier.
Yeah.
And anytime she brings it up about not being able to say no to her, I'm like, chandelier in the closet. And she just looks at me like,
That's funny.
yeah.
I'm just imagining a chandelier in my closet, which my office doubles as my closet. So just cut this house I live in is it's laid out weird. It's old. The closets are like super small. This was not intended to be like an actual house whenever it was first built.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely along the lines of you, I definitely have like an even bigger stuff for like a man building, I guess.
Yeah.
On the property, have like expand all of this, and hell, I've got autographed music stuff. Like one of my favorite country singers, I actually got an autographed electric guitar from him hanging on my wall back there.
Who is it?
Dirk Bentley.
Nice.
I went to one of his shows thinking, okay, it's all general admission. I want to see how close I can get. I got within like 2 people, and he at one point asked where his beer drinkers were at, and I'm just screaming, woo! And before he's pointing my direction, I'm like, he is not pointing at me. Like, I remember thinking that in my head. He is not pointing at me. Before I know it, he's helping the security guys get me over the barricade, and I'm shotgunning a beer on stage with him.
That's awesome.
I'm not even kidding. I still have the can.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, I still have the can. And towards the end of the show, he points back at me. And then I see him grab a guitar that one of his people in his band was playing. And then he starts motioning for something to write with. And I'm like, in my head, thinking, oh, fuck.
What's happening?
Exactly. I'm like, no, this is not happening.
Am I in a movie?
And then he literally walks over, hands it to me. The security guys, after the show ended, got me back over the barricade and sent me on a back path to get back to my car, because they're like, you're not walking back through that.
No, because people probably try to like jump you and steal it and then sell it.
Hell, I had in the elevator in the parking garage, I had people wanting to take pictures in the elevator with it. And I didn't even get to tell my family about it. Because my brother and his now wife were at my parents' house, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get some sleep. I'll call them in the morning. I kid you not, they must have been told 5 minutes before I called, because one of their friends was at the concert and was telling them, oh my God, it was so fun. They brought a guy up on stage and they shotgunned a beer with him, and then they gave him a guitar. And then they sent a picture to, I'm wanting to say it was his now wife. She looks over at him and is like, is that your brother? And then literally must have been 5 minutes later, I called and they're like, we heard. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. I'm like, Jesus, I can't even tell my own family about it. But yeah, that was wild.
Pretty cool, though. That's still pretty cool.
Oh, totally. It's like, oh God, the whole Hard Rock Hotel or the Hard Rock cafes where they have all the music. Like, I literally got almost that level of a thing over there with it in there. I'm like, dude,
that's sick.
Every time I see it, it's still like, holy shit, that actually happened. Who knows? Maybe I'll get my rematch one day, because he beat me in the shotgunning. I every time he comes to town, I'm like, I'm looking for my rematch. Damn it.
I don't blame you.
You know what? And segue that into with the name of a show like I have, I feel I would have to ask this question. Favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise?
Um, right now I currently like am in love with the those monster seltzers.
I've heard, but I have
They
not
they're
actually had
so
them.
good. They're so damn good. And they just came out with the second variety pack, so they got a few new flavors in it.
Okay.
Oh, brother. It's dangerous how good they are. And there's no sugar in them. It's not an old school like Four Loco situation. There's not caffeine in them. They're just like they're just a seltzer, and they are delicious. Uh,
I'm gonna have to keep my eye out.
Mountain Dew has they have seltzers; those
That
are
they do,
good,
yeah.
and like they have like ones that are just like Baja Blast, like
I've seen those.
variations. Those are good as well. Um, Normally though, before those were a thing, I was mostly kind of like just whiskey or
Mm,
beer. Uh, Beer, I'll drink Bud Light or Miller Light, but like if I have my choice, I usually am a Michelob Ultra guy.
okay.
Um, as far as like whiskey, for a long time I was like a Jack and Coke guy, and then I worked at these two bars in here in Dayton for over a year, Njpws and Hole in the Wall. Uh, I'd work at Ned's on like Fridays and Saturdays, and work at Hole on Sundays and Wednesdays. And the go-to like kind of drink that like the employees we would have after we'd close, like we'd clean and get everything stocked up, then we'd like hang out for like about an hour or so after we close and have a drink or two and just kind of wind down a little bit. Was a Tullamore Dew. It's a Irish whiskey.
Mm.
Uh, that became quickly a favorite drink as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I also love all these new flavors of Crown that have been coming out.
Mm. I've seen some interesting ones.
Uh, the Crown, whenever Crown Peach came out, there was that was like so super popular because it was only like a seasonal flavor,
Yeah.
and me and Zachary Wentz, we became super big fans of it, and he called me, and this was before he moved to Florida. He called me and he was like, "Bro, I found one liquor store that has a few bottles left. You want to go?" I was like, "Dude, let's do it." And we went, we went and bought out this liquor store's like last like 4 or 5 bottles, because it was about to be out of season,
Okay.
because it was like a more of like a
Yeah.
summer flavor that they put out. Now it's so popular. I think they keep it year round now. But yeah, the peach one was so good. Uh, Last year though, I had the salted caramel peach crown for the first time.
Oh, I want
It,
to have that.
it first came out in Canada because I have a friend in Canada, and she said she had posted a picture about it, and I was like, "You all," I was like, "Salted caramel? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?" She's like, "Oh, so." I was like, "When did this come? I need to find it now." And I eventually found it whenever we were out in Iowa, at a gas station randomly. Um, and then they have a new flavor that just came out like this year. It's like blackberry
I want to
or
say I've seen
something.
it somewhere. Yeah.
It's got like a purple and black label.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It is so delicious.
Yeah.
We we had a night, we were out in Iowa and we were hanging out. We did set up earlier, and we were like hanging out at the Airbnb playing 2K and just like bullshit and hanging out. There was a group of us, and we'll normally like grab food and like grab some drinks and go back to Airbnb or hotel and like hang out and whatever until we'll kind of enjoy ourselves, because like the next day is going to be hectic as fuck because it's show day.
Yeah.
And then the day after, it's like we're all dead. So like that's relaxed day.
Yeah.
And so like we bought a couple bottles of it, and they didn't make it through the night.
I can imagine not.
They didn't make it through the night. They were so good. And my an older cousin of mine, he he's a doctor down in Kentucky, and him and like a few of his like doctor friends, they like bought into like a distillery or something, and so like they have like their own bourbon now. And
Nice.
I'm trying to, it's called 10-day bourbon.
Hmm.
And my mom got me a bottle as a gift whenever like they first like released it. And um like I'm not normally much of a bourbon guy, but holy shit,
That was
it was
good.
really good. It was really good. It's expensive though. It's like $75 for a
Oh,
bottle.
Jesus.
But it's not something it's not a bourbon that you're going to sit and like
Yeah.
get it. You sit, you sip, you enjoy it. But it was really good. It was really,
Um,
really good.
I've always myself been, always been more of a beer guy, but liquors, it's usually whiskey or tequila for me. Like
Tequila.
tequila, I say that because there's two that I really enjoy because they're so smooth. Like you put them in a margarita, you better be careful because you won't be able to tell there's any damn alcohol in it.
I'm not a margarita fan at all.
But whiskey, okay, yeah, I do enjoy good Jack and Coke, but I like getting a little grenadine putting in there. It basically tastes like a Jack and Cherry Coke.
Hmm.
It's freaking delicious. Like I've gotten them at Revolver shows before.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Captain Morgan used to have a rum called Captain Morgan Tattoo, and it was a black spiced rum. It got discontinued for some reason. That was like my go-to drink from like, I want to say from like 2014 to
Okay.
like 2016, 2017 or something like that. Um and I would mix it with Coke and it would taste just like cherry Coke.
Ooh.
But like if you actually like had like, if you go to like gas station, get like a fountain Coke,
Yeah.
and then get like the cherry, if you have, they have like
The
the cherry
cherry.
flavoring you can
Yeah.
add to it, and then you mix that
But
rum into it. I always bought it like a fifth at a time,
yeah.
and the fifth never ever made it through the night ever. Like it got put down quick,
yeah.
quick. And I was going to a friend's New Year's Eve party. I want to say it was probably like 2018 or something like that. It might have been 2017 going into 2018. Um, and I stopped at the liquor store and I was like, you know what, I haven't had in a while. I haven't had Captain Morgan Tattoo. And I go there and like, hey, do you guys have this? Because like I've not been able to, like, I haven't seen it anywhere. But also like I hadn't drank in a while too. So they're like, oh, I don't think so. Let me go look. And um, they were like went to the back because like I didn't find it on any of the shelves and they didn't have it. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like they actually like discontinued that like a few months ago. And I was like, no. Like I was like having like that internal like camera zoom out to the sky like
like all
I
of a
was
sudden you get
so
a view of the
devastated.
globe and it's like
Yeah. Yeah, I was so devastated. And I've like never been able to like, I'm sure there probably still are some bottles out there, but I've
yeah.
not been able to find them yet.
Hmm.
So if anyone that listens to this, if you happen to have any,
Yes.
even if it's already been drank out of, as long as you haven't done anything weird to it, and if you're not if you're not planning on finishing it,
Hey.
slide into my DMs and send it my way.
Yeah. And when you brought up buying out the last couple of bottles of that one Crown, It reminded me of the time I went with my dad up to Green Bay for a Packer game at Lambeau.
Hell
And
yeah.
here, like it, I'm a lifelong cheesehead. So like when my dad was like, "So I hear you want to go to a Packer game," I'm like, uh, duh. But here in Omaha, they for some reason do not sell uh, either of Stone Cold's beers.
Mm.
But I found a grocery store up there in Green Bay that did. And I bought the last Packer. It was like a Packer two of them of the American Lager.
Oh, okay.
That is one freaking delicious beer. Like I'm wanting to get more of it, but like I said,
I'm not too big of a fan of like IPAs and lagers.
yeah, the IPA was different, but the American Lager one, oh, delicious. Yeah, I would say that I have to enjoy the American Lager one better than the IPA one, definitely. All right. Last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Um, I would say unless if you're going to take it like 1,000% serious and like you're true and you truly want to like pursue this and you want to take it to like as high as you can to the biggest
Yeah,
in places you can take it to. If you're not going to do all the stuff that's asked of you or that you need to do in order to get there, I would say don't.
it's definitely one of those businesses where if you're gonna get into it, it oh god, I'm forgetting where I originally heard this. For some reason, I'm wanting to say Simpsons, but it might have been different. But the whole saying was never half-ass anything, always full-ass it.
Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
That might have been it. Yeah,
Uh, don't half-ass to like multiple things, whole ass one thing, or it's something like that.
some along those lines. Yeah,
Yeah, it's something along those lines, and like also like really being self-aware, having like a high self-awareness of yourself, uh, going into it. If you have like self-esteem problems or issues, you might want to work on those first because like the business doesn't owe you anything no matter what you put into it. So it's not going to be kind to you, especially not right off the rip. Um, it's going to be harsh. It's going to be tough. It's going to be taxing mentally, physically, spiritually. Like it's going to test you in every way possible. Um, that's like a big thing that I noticed a lot with like people who like really want to get into it. Uh, they always like hear and see people say that, oh, this is my dream, it's my passion, but like they won't go and do the things they need to do for it to like work out for them to truly chase after it. Because like if it's your dream or passion, then you're going to do everything you need to do to be the best at it.
yeah.
Like if you're really passionate about being a really good basketball player, or football player, or professional gamer or something, you're not just going to pick it up once and be like, "Oh, I'm the best at it already." No.
Yeah.
You have to keep working at it. You have to keep doing different things you to do. Like yes, like once you like get through the initial training and you're having matches and stuff, like having more and more matches and getting reps and getting those experiences help. But like there's so much more to it than just that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever preconceived notions that people have before they even get started. Like people will have like these whole fleshed out characters and overly complicated backstories and stuff like thought up. And it's like, do you have the money to put into the production to get that over whenever you start getting put on like shows and having matches and stuff? Like
Yeah.
people romanticize like the idea of being a professional wrestler, but then whenever they get into it, they lack the self-awareness that is truly needed to understand, like, are you actually cut out for it? Because like I wanted to play football professionally. That was my goal from like the rip whenever I first started playing football whenever I was a kid. The first time I put on a pair of pads, I was in third grade and I fell in love with it. Uh, the first time I watched a football game live on TV was in 1998, and I saw Texas beat Texas A&M.
Mm.
It was Mac Brown's first year. Ricky Williams broke the rushing record and he won the Heisman that year.
Ah, yeah.
And that is the reason why I am a Texas Longhorns fan,
Mm.
because of that. And that was like my goal. Like I wanted to go to college and play football. I wanted to play football at Texas. I wanted to go pro. I wanted to be in the NFL. I wanted to win the Super Bowl. I wanted to get all this money from this contract and buy my mom the house that she always wanted and be able to do all this and that.
Yeah.
But it got to the point like I may not be able to do that. So I took it as far as I could. I mean, some circumstances didn't work out in my way, but like whatever, it is what it is. Like there's no point in crying or bitching about it. It
Yeah.
worked out the way it worked out, and especially like in with football, I feel like it's more difficult to like make it than it is wrestling, because in a different way. Like wrestling is very difficult to make it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it at all, not even a little bit, because at this point I've wrestled almost as long as I've played football for in my life. So, uh, but it's just different because like in wrestling you can sometimes get to places just based on people that you know and the connections you've made with people. Uh, but in football, it's not really. You can be friends with someone, but they're not going to give you this like $250,000 scholarship to go to this Division I school, and then this kid can't fucking play with these D1 athletes, or they're not gonna give you this multi-million-dollar contract for this NFL team, and it's like that flip from SpongeBob. Oh brother, this guy stinks. Like you don't want that, and you need to
Yeah.
have that self-awareness in anything that you're like going into, because there are plenty of things that I've like been very passionate about in my life, and I'm like, that's not for me. So like I can enjoy it and I can appreciate it from afar, but I'm not going to try to put myself into it because I know that like I cannot do that.
Yeah.
So probably the biggest thing I could give anyone is having self-awareness,
Mhm.
having the self-awareness and just like working on trying to make sure your mental health and your self-esteem is in a good place, because it will
Yeah.
fuck you up. It
Oh,
will
yeah.
fuck you up majorly.
Oh, yeah. I can totally agree. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on the whole lot of dude, they can go ahead and get them there.
On all of the socials, it's at the Crash Jaxon. That's Jaxon, not GACKSON or JAXSON or any other weird variation of it.
Yeah.
The Crash Jaxon on everything on Twitter or X, whatever, on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube, on Twitch, which I will be getting back to very, very very soon. I was planning on getting back to that at the beginning of October, but things, life and
Yeah.
stuff doesn't always work out that way. So maybe hopefully early November, which I'll also make a post about that before I get into it. And then I'll also be getting back whenever I start doing that, I'll be getting more back into YouTube stuff and things of that nature. So yeah. And then if you want to come see me, I got a show coming up this weekend. I'm not sure when this episode comes out. So
It'll be,
I have a show.
I'm trying to think. This will actually be episode 301. So it'll be shortly after the December Revolver show.
Oh, okay. So, well, I have a show this weekend, but this will be the show will already happened by then. So it's shortly after the December Revolver show. There's 2 December Revolver shows because there's one in Richmond, Indiana on the 21st.
That there is.
And also, I believe
they're making their
you could also check me out December 14th at Renegade Wrestling Alliance in West Newton, Pennsylvania, which they will probably be streaming on indiewrestling.us on Twitch, I believe, is where they usually stream. So that's also, those are the 3 places I'll be as of this moment in December. Normally wrestling kind of slows down towards the later months of the year because of holidays and potential inclement weather, because no one wants to travel in the snow and shit.
Good. Yeah, no, it's not fun. Even just going across town here in Omaha, it's a bitch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that is about all I have. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there, Revolver, and everywhere in between.
Thank you for having me, dude. I had a lot of fun. It's good to just shooting the shit,
That's the way I like to keep it.
Having a conversation. It's not all stuffy. We're casual, like we're a couple drinking buddies just catching up.
Yeah, that is exactly the way I've wanted it this whole time. All right.
Yeah.
No, goddamn fucking button again.